Good morning, students. So today we will be starting a new chapter, and that is your physical world. Physical world units and dimensions. So we will be doing this chapter today. So before we start, we should be knowing something about this one. That is, what is a physical world? First of all, we should know what is a physical world. So simply it has originated the word, this physical world has, this word has been originated from a Latin verb scientia, scientia, that simply means to know, that simply means to know. So simply physical word has been originated from a Latin word scientia, that simply means to know. And the Sanskrit word Vinjan, Vinjan, and Arabic word ilm convey the similar meaning, that is called knowledge. Now you must be thinking why sir is teaching us literature kind of thing, since I told you that this is a very theoretical chapter and you will be finding the same things in your NCERT also. So we are doing these things. Okay. So what we have understood, that it has been originated from a Latin word, and that simply means to know. So whole chapter will be dealing with to know the physical world. We have to know about the physical world. Okay. Now there are few methods to know this one, and first one we called it scientific methods. Since we are learning about science, then we should be talking about the scientific methods only. Okay. Now what is this? It is a systematic attempt. Systematic simply means, for example, if I ask you to study physics, then what you will be doing? You will first bring your book, then you will open it, then you will see from the index, you will see the chapter number which you are going to study, then you will move on to that chapter, and then you will start reading. This is called a systematic attempt. But if I ask you to go and read your physics book, then suddenly you are going and from your almirah only you have started studying, or randomly you have chosen any chapter, means unsystematic way. Okay. So scientific method, it is what? It is a systematic attempt to to understand the natural phenomena in much detail. See, I am writing only keywords, I am not writing the definitions. Okay, these keywords are very important. In much detail, depth, as much as possible, and use the knowledge. Now whatever understanding you have gained, for example, after reading about a process, for example, how the flower grows or flower blooms, you have studied everything, you have studied in much depth and detail. Now what you will be doing with this knowledge? You will predict something. For example, if there is another seed, you will be able to predict, like in this much days it will bloom up. So similarly, what we will be doing after the systematic attempt and understanding the natural phenomena in much detail and depth, then we will use this knowledge to predict or modify or control that particular phenomena. I hope this much is clear. So similarly, simple thing, what is a scientific method? Scientific method is a systematic attempt in which you will study about a natural phenomena in much detail and depth, and then you will use that knowledge to predict or modify or control that phenomena. For example, we have understood like how the flower blooms. Now there are something that is called genetic engineering. Those who are biology students, they will be learning about this in their class 12, or I think they will be learning about this in their class 11th only. What we are doing in this genetic engineering, we are modifying the genes of these plants so that they can grow very well in shorter period of time. For example, through one very less number of seeds, we can have a good production. Okay. So this is the scientific method in which we are modifying the natural phenomena. Okay. So this is about the physical world and how we are doing. Now how you will do this one? like, sir, you have told that there is a systematic way. Then what? How you will do? How we will do this one? First, there should be a systematic observations. Systematic observations. I am expecting you people to write these things in your copy. Systematic observations. Point number 2. Once you observe, then what you will be doing? You will be doing controlled experiments. Controlled experiments. Then what you will be doing? Then you will be doing qualitative and quantitative reasoning. I will explain each and everything. Okay, let me first write down these steps. Point number 4, what is it? Mathematical modeling. Point number 5 is prediction. Point number 6 is verification and falsification. Now what are these? These are not just merely words, but each and every word holds a significant meaning in itself. For example, what is systematic observation? For example, I have bought one seed, and what I will be doing, I will observe. After few days, this sprouts and some small roots comes out. And after some more days, you will see that there is a flower growing. Okay, now I have observed most of the things. Now what I will do, in my lab, I will bring one more seed and I will try to modify and I will try to induce some things like using some chemicals and all, and then I will do some experiment and I will try. For example, this flower grew in 8 days, and in controlled manner I will try to make it grow within 6 days. So this is my second part. My experiment has been done. Now I will give qualitative and quantitative reasons. Simply means why this flower has grown within 6 days. The qualitative or quantitative reason will be that I have used certain chemicals, I have used certain fertilizers, certain pesticides, and because of this thing happened, means earlier growth happened. So this point number 3 is done. Now fourth one, what I will be doing, I will be making a mathematical model. For example, I will make a certain model that will be applicable not only to this seed but also to variety of other seeds. For example, if this was a banana seed, I will try to make a mathematical model such that with few modification, that simply means with few different chemicals, few different fertilizers, few different pesticides, the same thing can be applicable to this experiment also. So this is called mathematical modeling. Now prediction. Now see, since this was a banana seed, it took 8 days and it grown in 6 days. But for watermelon, it will be a different kind of thing. So my prediction should be different. For example, watermelon in usual circumstances grows in 15 days. But by using these kind of things like systematic observation, controlled experiment, qualitative and quantitative reasoning, I found that it is growing in 10 days. So this will be my prediction. Now verification and falsification. It might happen that this formula was applicable to watermelon but was not applicable to cucumber. So this is falsification, means my formula is not applicable to this one but is applicable to watermelon. So these are the various steps that we are using in scientific method to analyze the physical world. Moving on to the next topic. What is called unification. Now what is unification? Now we all know that there are diverse physical phenomena, means there are number of physical phenomena in and around the world. For example, there are trees which grows in different aspects. Mango tree will grow in different way. Your cucumber will grow in different way. Potato will grow in different way. For example, then you move on to the next thing. There are various kind of animals. There are mammals. There are reptiles. They have a different kind of habitat. They will grow in a different manner. They will have different mothers. They will have different fathers. Similarly, if you move on further, there are wind circulation in and around because of we get rains. There are different kinds of physical world. There are mountains. So there are diverse physical phenomena in and around us. So to learn each and everything, What we will be using? We will be using few concepts, and laws. We will be learning about few concepts and few laws. Okay. Now the effort to see this physical phenomenon, the effort you are putting to see this physical phenomena using these few concepts and laws are called unification. Okay. Now you must be knowing about few person, or you can say few personalities around the world which have given you few concepts. For example, there was Isaac Newton, and you must have learned about his three laws in class 9: first law, second law, and third law. Then there was Oersted experiment. You have learned in your class 10th. That was your magnetism chapter. Then there was Michael Faraday. Again, you have learned in your class 10. Then there was Maxwell. You will be learning about him in your class 12. Then there are many. Okay, there are many people like this who have given few concepts and laws which we are using at present to understand the physical world or the physical phenomenon. Okay, now these are called the. Now moving on to the next topic, that is called reductionism. Now what is called reductionism? For example, see, it simply means it is a related effort. It is a related effort to derive the properties. Write it down. Related effort to derive the properties of bigger, more complex system from properties and interaction I will explain it. Let me write first. Okay, an interaction of its constituent simpler part is called reductionism. Now I hope you have written it. Even if you have not written it, please pause the video and try to understand what is this, and then you can again pause the video to write down the definition. Now what is this? See, for example, there is a field. Okay, there is a cultivable field. Cultivable field means where we can grow crops and etc. Okay, crops and vegetables we can grow there. Now, for example, if I ask you to tell me how many numbers of crops are grown here, so suddenly if I ask you, you won't be able to answer my question. You need to count them. Okay, or if I ask you, tell me what are the different varieties of crops grown in this field, again you won't be able to answer until and unless you count it. So what you will be doing is, first you will convert this cultivar field into different sections. Now you will, for example, let us consider that there are only potatoes, there are only cucumber, there are only, let it be X vegetable, there are Y vegetable, there is A, there is B, there is C, D and E. There are so many of vegetables. Now you have divided the whole field in such a manner that you have divided in certain sections which comprises of similar components. For example, it contains only potatoes, it contains only cucumber, it contains only X, Y, A, B, C and D. Now if I ask you how many types of crops you are growing, you can simply count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sir, I am growing 9 crops. Now if I ask you how many potatoes you are growing, now again you cannot answer, because you have divided the field into certain sections which are containing similar kind of vegetables. Now what you will be doing, you will divide this one and you will count every potatoes. Now you count that there are 10 potatoes. Now you can answer. So what I have done, there was complex problem, the whole field. There was a complex problem, that is the whole field, which you were unable to answer initially without counting and all. Now what you have done, you have broke this field into different components, 1, 2, 3, 4, say 9 components. So now you can answer, sir, there are 9 crops. Again I made it a complex problem and I asked you how many potatoes are there. Then again you divided this field and you have counted this one. So simply in a more simpler terms, we can say that breaking a complex problem, listen it, breaking a complex problem into very smaller thing and then solving them is called reductionism. Okay, it's called reductionism. So this is called related effort to derive the properties of a bigger, that is this field, or more complex, again this field, from properties and induction of its constituent. Constituent means this C, D, E part is called reductionism. I hope this is clear. Now what we can do is the scope, and we can divide the whole world into two parts. We can divide the whole world into two parts. The first part will be your macroscopic. The first part will be your macroscopic. Now what is a macroscopic world? Macroscopic world simply means that you can see me, you can see yourself, you can see your mother, you can see your father, you can see goats, you can see various organisms that are bigger in size. So we can say that these are the macroscopic organisms. If you talk about trees, if you talk about stones, so for example, if you are considering stone, then you can say it is a macroscopic matter, and the other one we can call it microscopic. Microscopic simply means the germs, the coronavirus. There are many things which you cannot see through your naked eye, and we call them microscopic. And we say that there is a different world that is called microscopic world in which these organisms are living, and the other one that is the macroscopic world in which we are living. I think this is clearly understood that macroscopic is one which is larger in size, and microscopic is which one? Which is smaller in size, which cannot be seen through naked eyes. I hope this much is very much clear. Now coming on to the, wait, just let me rub the board. Now there are few what do you call it, few physicists are there. For example, the people who have done very good in physics and some principles given by them. There might be a chart in your NCERT book. Even if it is not there, not important. Okay, just I am reading of few things. For example, there was Archimedes principle. Archimedes, who gave principle of buoyancy, which you have learned in your class 9th. I hope you have learned this one in your class 9th. And then there is a Galileo. He gave law of inertia. You have read in class 9, Newton laws of motion chapter. Then there was Isaac Newton. He gave numerous laws, and you have studied, you know him very well. So similarly, there are many laws and many things are there which have been given by these people. So moving on to the next part, that are called the fundamental forces in nature. Fundamental forces of nature. Now what are the fundamental forces of nature? They are, for example, gravitational force. It is a fundamental force of nature. Point number 2 will be your electromagnetic force. Point number 3 will be your strong nuclear force. ठीक है. Point number 4 will be your work nuclear force. Work nuclear force. Point number 5 is not there. So these 4 forces, these are the few examples. There are many more in this nature, but we are talking only about four forces. Now what I will be doing in the very next video, I will be discussing in details about these 4 forces. For example, what is a gravitational force, what is this, in few statements we will cover up. Similarly, you will be required to cover 2, 3 and 4 as a homework. So let us move to the next video. If you have any doubt regarding this, you can ask me in your WhatsApp group. Thank you.